Go ahead, you do it.
I'm just waiting for it. Hey, everybody. So, good morning, everybody. Yeah, it is Wednesday. We are talking about things Tesla. We are talking with Brighter with Herbert. We are talking about the MrBeast factor, advertising, and which form is the best. Yeah, let's get into all that. I'm Brian. This is my Tesla weekend and Brighter with Herbert. Good morning, Herbert.
I'm Herbert, and this is Brighter with Herbert. And every Wednesday, Brian and I have been doing these live streams together, and they've been very, very good. We have a lot of fun. But today, we're going to share both a combination of breaking news. I would say it's not really breaking news, but it's news that happened yesterday, talking about Tesla doing advertising. But we're also going to share a bunch of examples of how big social media, celebrities, and how Tesla is really getting the word out much more than most people think. Not saying that they shouldn't do more educational advertising, but there's a combination of both, and we can kind of get a gauge of how big this is happening now. So let's start off with this news here, which is, yesterday, this guy named Alex Ingram posted this out saying he's starting a new role at Tesla this week, and he's going to be hiring a new series of creative roles. Okay, he's looking for people to give him referrals. Senior production manager, senior creative lead, senior video producer, cinematographer, a video editor, senior video producer, right? So first kind of signal and sign that Tesla is absolutely now going to start creating more of these kind of videos. So I'm just going to play here an example of the video that he attached to his tweet. And it's gorgeous, right? I mean, Tesla can do this. It's not that hard for them to do this. But now you've got a team. They're going to create more. And this is just the beginning of this gorgeous video,
Absolutely. The big thing on that is these roles combined are going to cost Tesla less than $1 million a year. $1 million does not buy you a whole lot in terms of advertising. Every video they make is going to show up in the B-roll of all the content creators. It's going to show up in the B-roll anytime someone's discussing it on the network news. It's going to be a very affordable way to get good, recent footage out about Tesla.
So when the Cybertruck Cybertruck was launched, right, they had 5 YouTubers do these videos. And at the time that we looked a week later, there was 30 million views, right? And I'm sure right now it's even bigger.
It is bigger, and Jason Camisa just keeps repackaging smaller parts of it, and it does so well for their channel, for Carmudgeon, that they just keep finding more footage on the floor and saying, you know what, we are going to use this after all. Because like with Jay Leno's Garage, I'm sure he shot for hours to put out 12 minutes, 14 minutes. All that footage from somebody who actually needs the money, unlike Jay, they're going to keep going back and using more and more of it because it's still interesting and valuable. And so the numbers are still racking up on those because it's worth it. But what I want to talk about is the MrBeast factor. Did you know Did you know there's a YouTuber named MrBeast?
Do we know there's a YouTuber named MrBeast?
So one thing he loves to do is give away Teslas. It's, he's given away supercars before, but mostly he's giving away Teslas. And he's given away beaters as well. But the big thing, and even in this week's video, Survive 100 Days Locked in a Room, there was Teslas offered as prizes. And that's a different kind of advertising. Do you want to show that clip?
Okay, yeah, let's show the clip. I want to start at the beginning and then come back right to this because it's fun. I love the way he does his intros.
And we're going to be exploding, sailing, driving, and even flying all of these cars to show you why they're so expensive. Starting with this $1 car. Literally.
Okay, always great intros. He gets you in the hook. And then, but the part that you wanted to show was this part right here, right? Which is actually within the first minute of the video.
All right, well, that was the $1 car.
Glad I wasn't in that.
Bring in the $100,000 car, which drives itself. No joke, no one is...
Okay, come on. Brian, I do have to complain. $100,000 car, that's not good.
Well, we don't know... So this was released 3 months ago. It could have been shot 6 months before that. If it's a Plaid X, which it doesn't look like based on the wheels, it could have been 100,000 at the time. And he's rounding. But
Still,
this is...
you know what I'm saying? That one of the biggest misconceptions out there is that Teslas cost $100,000 when you can now buy it 40,000 or even less. So, but this is still, hey, come on, advertisement's advertisement, right? It's like, it's
Right.
fantastic. And
the difference between this and traditional advertising, let's even compare it to a Super Bowl ad, is a Super Bowl ad costs a
Someone
fortune.
is currently in this car.
sorry, go ahead.
But you get 100 million views. You don't. 100 million people may watch the Super Bowl, but that doesn't count all the viewers. And it doesn't count who's actually paying attention during commercial breaks. Not everyone is looking at the screen. Not everyone cares. But this is 1:10 into a MrBeast video that got 191 million views. I would argue 90% of them watched this attentively.
All the way through.
All the way through. And this 191 million doesn't count individual viewers. It counts individual devices. And I'll tell you, when we watched it, me and my family, 6 of us watched it together. We were counted as one
In the same
view.
device.
On the same device. We counted as one view. So this is 5-10 times more valuable. And it's clear from the fact that he called it by the wrong price that Tesla did not pay for this to be in here. Or if they did, I mean, great work, but maybe get a little more hands-on.
Great facts there, Brian. And I know you got a lot more facts to drop about this, but let's watch
And it
this.
is moving. Let's see what 100 grand gets you. There's a lot of room in this car. This is one of the few cars that can actually fit all my kids.
Do you have kids?
Yeah, all of them. Let's take it for a little spin. The real reason you're buying a Tesla is because it can drive itself. All right, I'm no longer driving the car. Oh, it's switching lanes. Whoa! It is literally driving itself. My feet are not touching the gas and I'm not touching the steering wheel.
Jimmy, are you telling me now you can take a nap while driving?
No, don't do that.
Oh, okay.
Now, let's see how fast the car can go.
It jerks you back.
Okay, I got to pause it there, Brian. I have not seen this yet. I'm one of the people not seen 191. That was amazing. So he said how roomy it was, that it can drive itself. He actually showed it changing a lane by itself. Yeah, this is like, I don't know how many people had no idea that this can do it. That's wow. That's a big deal. And then how fast it can go. Let me keep playing this. I can't stop watching this.
That's terrifying. This is just the beginning. Later, we have a car that literally transforms into an airplane.
Okay, so was that it?
That was it. Less than a minute, which is perfect for low attention span theater. You could argue, I've seen people argue, MrBeast audience, they're too young. The demographics skew too young. Well, today's 12-year-olds are going to be 22 in 10 years. And this is a long-term play on Tesla's part, building cars. But I would also point out that I watched the videos and people like you and I have discussed MrBeast before. And the fact that it's in so many of his videos and always in a positive light, I appreciate that they did mention, don't go to sleep. Don't do that. It's not that. And now that I'm thinking about it, that might be his car. He might have paid 100 for it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, that was one of the high end ones. Oh, sorry, I keep trying to share this and it's not working for me. So MrBeast got 2 billion monthly views. YouTube channel breaks new ground. He keeps growing. So I guess the point being, right, that people keep saying Tesla needs to advertise, and when you say they do advertise, they say no, I want to see TV ads. And what you're telling us, and pretty logical for many of us, but when you see this, you realize, no, this social media, YouTube, is bigger now, right? Do you want to share more stats?
Well, it's so one of the reasons his channel got so big is YouTube allows subtitles or audio tracks in more than one language to appear on the native track. So it used to be that he had 10, 20 other channels in other languages, and they're now migrating back to the main channel because he can just put in those other language tracks on the same channel, apparently. And he can have subtitles in as many languages as he wants. That's always been a thing. But it allows him to consolidate efforts into one channel rather than many. And it's allowed for, 2 billion views in a month, and that was 2 months ago. Oh my gosh, that's 3 months. That was huge. So every time he really, and like I said, just this week it was 100 days in a room, get $500,000 or something, and you get. And one of the prizes was the mystery box. What's in it? It could be anything. And it was 2 Teslas. So it is an aspirational vehicle for young people. I think MrBeast is smart enough to understand that the petty day-to-day politics of social media are less important than quality. Is my
So
take.
just to catch up the folks who haven't seen this yet, this Alex Ingram said that he started a new role at Tesla this week. He's going to hire a bunch of new people: production manager, creative lead, video producer, cinematographer, editor, video producer. And they actually showed an example of an ad that looks fantastic, looks great. This question is fantastic from John Francois, and he's saying, typically companies don't hire videographers and creative talent directly. That is so true. They hire agencies. Certainly that's what Apple did, and they have amazing commercials, and they partner with an amazing creative agency. Vertical integration again. What do you think, Brian?
Absolutely agree. And those creative agencies cost a fortune. One video could cost you $500,000. It depends what you want it to be and what you want it to do. But when you've got them on staff, you can give them unlimited tasks and unlimited freedom beyond their primary tasks and come up with some fantastic stuff. The things that Tesla farmed out that were breathtaking were like the drone footage fly through Giga Berlin. That was amazing. And then there was briefly a behind the scenes available about it until that was taken down, where the pilot got to explain how many drones they lost doing it because it was so difficult and challenging. But the end result was masterful. If you've got an in-house team, they can do all this stuff all the time. And it makes sense.
Yeah, my theory is this: that most companies hire creative ad agencies because they want them to shape the brand, and it's about the brand and what they stand for. Tesla doesn't need that, right? They are already the brand. What they just need is educational information, kind of things that look sexy. But you know what I mean? Like that, I don't know. I'm not an expert. I have no idea.
Well,
But
what
that's
they
my
could,
guess.
one assignment they could have is make commercials. Don't run the commercials, just make them. Put them up on the website, put them up on YouTube, put them up on X, and let people draw from them. If they made a 30-second spot that says, here's actually how affordable EVs are, 30 seconds on here's how safe they are. You know, there are news stations who love an easy story who would say, this is an interesting one, let's just play it and then discuss. And they're going to play that 30-second commercial on air and then add to it and then discuss it. That's so much more valuable than running it during the break.
Yeah. So as this debate about Tesla advertising, I always kept coming back to what is the first principle, if Elon, the way Elon thinks of it. And of course, the first principle, and he said this before, and I wish I had shown you the tweet, but he said before, right? Instead of advertising, we're going to create the best car possible. First principle, create the best product ever. The second first principle, if I can say that, sorry, Brian, I would say is word of mouth marketing. And Tesla has I bar none, you tell me any other company in the world or the history of the world that has the biggest, most fervent fans for that company.
So a
right?
distant second is Apple.
Right. I was an Apple fan for decades, and I tell you, I was a big, giant fan. I was one of the first to get the first iPhone. I didn't quite go to the point of I'm going to line up and sleep overnight. But I was definitely following every move. I was part of it. But Tesla's is much bigger. So somehow they created this mission-driven collective of people that are going all in and investing and really want to support the company and do everything. So that's, I think, pretty true, right? There's going to be, Harvard business stories and lessons taught about how was this created.
And it's crazy.
Right? Is that true?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You look at You've been to TeslaCon, you've been to
Yeah.
the X takeover. I've been to the
Yeah.
TeslaCon additionally in Florida. I've been to Tesla events in Michigan, and we've both been to ones in Washington and Oregon, but there are no fan-led Apple cons. There's the
Yes.
closest you're going to find is like an antique Mustang group.
So my point is that I think that it's being underestimated by the Tesla community. That Tesla is just focusing on word of mouth marketing and making sure that we the customers are given the tools to spread the word a bit more. They could certainly do a lot more. I'm not saying that. And so now they're definitely going to do more advertising. But if they create more creative, and even if they don't create creatives, we our own retail communities creating creatives anyways,
Yeah,
we will share it like crazy.
a few
And so
years.
it's
Yeah,
not just an ad on a TV spot for 30 seconds. It's going to be spread by the fervent fans, right?
there was a few years back. There was a gentleman who made a spec commercial. He just made it to as an exercise for himself, and it was a commercial of his Tesla going to pick up his father who was blind and bring him for a visit. And he, I assume used summon to bring the car, to move the car, uh, and made it look like no one was driving. And it was this very touching, very heartfelt thing. And even though it was never aired because it wasn't a legit commercial, he got an Emmy nomination for that commercial for short form whatever, and it might have been an Oscar or Emmy, but whatever. He was nominated, and he said, "Boy, if I win, that's going to matter." And I said, "No, man. For the rest of your life, you can put Emmy nominated on your byline." And it was, who's doing that? Who's making anything other than parody commercials for real companies?
Okay, so just to again catch folks up, there was news that Tesla is now hiring people to create creatives, production managers, video producers to create commercials. And so let's talk about 2024, right? Elon has said we're going to advertise. Tell me though, right? When you're selling 2 million cars, I don't know if you needed to advertise before 2 million cars. But once you're getting to sell from 2 to 10 million cars, certainly when you want to try to sell 20 million cars, you need to advertise. And so I think that 2024, they're going to break out. They're going to start going full on. Now, you need to have your factories in place. You need to have the scalability to create this. You don't want to create the demand when people are waiting. In fact, the Cybertruck was hilarious, right? They announced that they had 2 million, like was it Franz confirmed that they have 2 million reservations for the. So there's a lot of people that are upset that they're not going to get their Cybertruck within a year. And so you don't want to have 5 million people waiting. You need to build the scale and then you advertise. So one of the things that Tesla has is this weird dynamic where the demand is more than the requirement. Now, last year, of course, price cuts fell. And so people are going, why did you cut prices in new demand? It's not about the demand. It was about trying to get to price parity, and it was about affordability. No matter if affordability is high or low because of it's hard to afford something, you're going to need to cut it. Let's not get there. We've had so much airtime debating this. But do you know what I mean? Like once you hit the 2 million mark, which is where we're at right now, you need to advertise. And so they're going to probably push really hard next year, barring macro.
So I don't know. I'm still of the camp that they aren't fans of traditional advertising. It can be hard to measure. There are what I see consumers needing, even the people who say you need to advertise, is saying you need to show the benefits. You need to educate. People know the brand exists. They see it everywhere, but there are a lot of people who don't know. And I can't tell you how many people I've talked to this month for whom it was the first time they had ever heard of or seen the Cybertruck. Because I ask everyone their opinions, and a lot of people say, "No, never heard of it. What's that?" And I show them a picture, and they go, "Wow, that's something." And so, how the world still doesn't know that the Cybertruck exists is a bit of a head scratcher. And that's the sort of thing where advertising can be effective, not in terms of direct sales, but just awareness at all. There are people who still think that, like you were showing, that a Tesla is $100,000. A Model X 6 months ago probably was, but the vast majority of Teslas are under 55,000. And
Okay. So Brian, what is your message for today? Like you're basically saying, right? So we know that Tesla's now going to start doing advertising based on the news yesterday that they're going to hire these people, and you think that there's a space for advertising. But you also wanted to point out what that Mr. Beast and Joe Rogan and all these
and you and
YouTubers
I are
and you
doing
and I.
so much of the advertising for them. I think it's no coincidence that the plaid version of the Cybertruck is called the Beast. I think
Why?
because of Mr. Beast, because maybe it's for search
No,
terms,
no, no.
maybe it's for crowding in on the mental space occupied by Beast. Maybe it's any of those things. Maybe it's a subtle thank you to Mr. Beast. It could be any of those things. But I think
Beast mode
you
is
don't think
such a
so.
it's too amazing. It's just
In the
beast mode
comments,
is
sound off.
amazing.
Is Beast mode a nod to
There you
Mr.
go.
Beast or
Thanks,
anything?
Hadouken. That's a stretch. I agree. See, come on, dude.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what the rest of the comments
Let's see if you
say.
got somebody on your side that can support you.
Uh huh.
Brian's right.
Not yet. Oh, is that? Yeah, we shall see. I've also seen people saying, "Oh, all these not a nod to Mr. Beast." I see. I don't think so. I see. Well, okay. If you guys, then I tell you what, the only way to know for sure is to give us a thumbs up right now on our videos so that we know. And by the way, if you're not subscribed to our channels, please do that. It turns out about half of our viewers are not subscribed. That's crazy. So great.
So the other thing about Tesla that I think is very unique. I mean, obviously there's some companies that can do this as well. It's very, very marketable. It's very, very, word of mouth worthy. There's something like, summon. Oh my God, right? I can press a button and my car will drive itself to pick me up. And
Right.
I've been saying this so often, Brian, when you've got true, what is it called? ASS? What's this?
Actually
Active,
smart summon.
actually smart summon.
Hmm.
And reverse smart summon. Is that what it's called? Yeah. When you actually have that, that's what's going to go viral. Okay. I want to repeat it again. I'm sorry for those who've heard me say this so many times. When you can go to a Target or a Walmart and have your Tesla drop you off at the lobby and then at the entrance and let the car find its parking. And then when you come out with your bags, let it come to you and pick you up. That is the moment when people will watch and see that there's nobody driving it. They'll take out their phones, they'll videotape it, and that's going to go viral. That's what's going to be the ChatGPT moment for Tesla. And so, it's not going to be full self-driving because there's always a person driving in the, in front of the steering wheel. It's just not as powerful as right there.
Yeah.
So, anyways, there's just one example. There's so many little features that Tesla has that are just, I want to share this with the world.
Yeah, they're on another level. The other neat thing is that so many people like us are so happy to give rides to people new to the experience because it's still exciting to us, like on Thanksgiving when I took a programmer friend of mine who works at one of the Magnificent Seven. He had never experienced any kind of autonomous driving, so we went out for a spin. Blew his mind. He had never considered Tesla before, and now he wants to know if I have a referral code. So he may be looking to buy sooner than later, and he was not a likely
Ooh,
candidate. Yes.
got a good point. Got a good point for you, buddy. Look at this. It could be named after MrBeast. There's Joe mode named after. Wait, it wasn't named after Joe Rogan.
I don't think
this
it was named after
a
Joe
though.
Rogan.
No, but it was named after another Joe. That's true.
Mhm.
I wanted to do a poll, but I don't have the time to do that. Okay, so what other stats do you have? I know that you did a bunch of research here.
Well, I pulled up viewership of the Super Bowl. I pulled up demographics of the Super Bowl. Do you have either of those handy?
Why don't you speak to it, or do you want me to while I'm looking for it?
The idea is that they say the demographics of MrBeast are too young to matter to the Tesla community. And I would argue that that's ridiculous because even a 13-year-old will be driving in a few years. Whether Whether or not they can afford a Model X is another matter. But a Model 3, I saw cars in inventory yesterday. There you go. A 30-second Super Bowl ad is 7 million, according to Ad Edge. Their 7 million is not a great deal in my view. 7 million is, probably 7 times what Tesla is going to pay for their entire department of media production people. 208 million viewers is, those are 208 million people who may or may not actually be viewing. Versus the MrBeast video, which is more than 191 million people with their eyes glued to the screen to hear what's coming next. And it wasn't 30 seconds, it was, what do we say, 48, 58 seconds? So it was just that one appearance in a MrBeast video, which I believe was not paid for, probably not paid for. If it was paid for, it was money well spent, but it would be, I think they're supposed to disclose sponsorships like that, but they would, that is way better value. So, yeah, creators like MrBeast, charge 500,000 to 2 million to work with them. So it's vastly cheaper to work with people whose videos are actually going to be sought out and watched than it is to force an ad in front of someone who may or may not want to see it. When the Taycan came out, there was a Keanu Reeves commercial that was playing in heavy rotation on YouTube. I must have seen it 15 or 20 times. I did not consider buying a Taycan. They're too expensive. It's not for me. And even if it was, the same price as a Model S, I still wouldn't get one. I'd rather have a Tesla. I like to be able to charge in places. But they... Yeah. So ads, and Lucid runs a lot of ads, and they don't sell a lot of units.
Oh, okay, so let me just debate that a little bit, right? So Apple is also a very desired product, desired corporation. People want to have the Apple halo. They want to, they will show Apple products in TV commercials. I think there's a rule, by the way. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Apple has a rule that if you, as a TV show, want to show an Apple product, an iPhone in your hand, it's got to be the good guy. So a lot of people have noticed that these mystery shows, it's not going to be the bad guy. So that was like, okay. But you know what I mean? Like this already exists. People want to buy, show this, whether it's free or not free, right? Apple gets tremendous amount of it, but yet they still do massive advertising. And so it's like, we both agree, right? You need to do both traditional advertising and word of mouth, social media marketing.
Yeah, there's no reason they can't excel by doing both. I just think that people need to understand that, a comment I just got in is, do you know anybody that doesn't know about Coke, yet they still advertise? I know Wrigley's gum was the #1 gum brand by such a huge margin that something like 100 years ago, they decided to stop advertising, and they quickly lost their crown and never got back to #1. Certainly never got back to the market share they had before.
Now, the other thing about first principles about marketing, you guys are aware, right? That Tesla has, they do a lot of work on referral programs. So, I've got a referral link because I own a Tesla. If you own a Tesla, you've got a referral link. Brian has one. So please, if you're considering to buy a Tesla, please go into my description in the YouTube channel or Brian's and use one of our referral links. One of the things I discovered is shocking. If somebody uses your referral link to buy a Tesla and then they end up buying it, you as a referrer get 10,000 credits. And then you can use that to redeem it in the Tesla app from anything from clothes to roof racks to, liners on your floor to, dog carpet protection.
Supercharger miles. Supercharger miles. Acceleration boost. You can get a new wall charger. You can get premium connectivity. You can get 3 months of free FSD.
But what shocked me, and here I am, Tesla influencer, a Tesla person who knows everything about Tesla. I did not realize until I got my first referral 10,000 credits is almost the equivalent of $1,000.
It depends
So
what
it's
you're
like,
buying it. It depends what
yeah,
you're spending it on, because the things you're redeeming it for, like if you got 20 shirts, that may have a retail cost of $1,000, but it doesn't have a cost to Tesla of $1,000. If you get the 3 months of FSD,
exactly.
that's a
Exactly.
$600 value, but the cost to Tesla is much lower. So it is a good value
That's my
to
point.
us, but a
Yeah,
low cost to them.
it's exactly. It's like low cost to them, to Tesla, and yet the value to us is so high. And so this is brilliant. Like if Apple does not have that. Apple does not have
Oh,
a referral program that is lucrative like this, because obviously the Apple products are like, 1/10 the price of a Tesla car.
hmm
So my point is that, it's shocking how lucrative the referral program is for Tesla. So if you have a Tesla and you own one, you've got a referral link. Share that with your friends, and then you will get quite a bit of reward on this.
A comment just came in from Bruno Smith. Lord Leverholm of Unilever once said, "I know that 50% of my ads work, but
Yeah,
which 50%?"
yeah.
That's a
So
fine
that's a
question.
very good point, right? That's again so anti-Tesla because Tesla is so driven by data. They want to make sure that everything they do is data driven. So, right, that's maybe one reason that they haven't done it, but it doesn't matter. At the end of
hmm
the day, when that guy made that point, it doesn't matter. What matters is you do it, and then if you think if it's worthy. I mean, what do you think about this though, right? Who's the number one advertising? Which industry is the number one advertiser in the world?
Number one advertiser in the world. Oh my gosh. Well, the industry would be cars, I would guess, but I don't know who.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know.
Oh,
But
I know.
we know it's going to
Yeah.
be number one advertiser industry is going to be either pharmaceutical firms
Mm.
or automobile.
Yeah, because the auto companies spend $1 billion, 3 billion a year. We're seeing some comments saying pharmaceutical, but I would say that that's true in the U.S. Pharmaceutical companies do not advertise abroad because it's only legal to do that in like 2 countries, and this happens to be one of them. Um, yeah, yeah, that's a good question. Uh, what kind
I
of
mean, I think if it's TV, it's pharma, then but if it's like if your definition of advertising is broader, then of course it changes.
including print and billboard and all that? Uh-huh. Uh, what kind of ads would you like to see, Herbert?
Okay, so educational ads is number one. So when we look at the list of the reasons why people don't buy Teslas, guess what number one is? It's affordability, guys. It's
Mm-hmm.
affordability. So they needed to bring the price of an EV to be the same price as an ICE car. And if you see the price cuts, you can see it actually matches exactly what the average ICE car prices are. There's no mystery to it why they do price cuts. So it's almost like advertising would not have solved the issue. You just want to always be at price parity or even cheaper. Number one. Number two is range anxiety. There was this thing that went viral on TikTok. Did you see this? This woman, and she was talking about, just stupid things about range anxieties in EVs. And so that's, there's still that very much that issue. So the price you do need, like we said at the very beginning of this episode here, the misconception by so many people is that a Tesla still is $100,000. Jeff Lutz explained it really well that when you came out with the Roadster, you came out with the Model S, you came out with the first Model 3 even, and the Model Y. For the last 10 years, the prices of Teslas have been 50,000 or higher. It's only in the last 6 months or a year that it's now down to 40 or 30. So there's this perception, which actually works well for Tesla, right? Tesla seems as a premium brand, but people don't know. So you need to educate them on price. You need to educate them on range. But as you see all these partnerships, gas stations, and recently we reported the Best Western, Hilton partnered with Tesla. All these car companies are partnering with Tesla for superchargers, and superchargers are showing up everywhere now. The range thing will not be an issue, but you need to educate them. So those are the things you need to do.
Yeah. So Tony just commented on your stream. I think a 2 to 3 minute ad read on a popular football podcast would be more cost effective than a Super Bowl ad because it gets more relevant information across to the listener. I think that's a good
What do you
point.
think? What do you think about this one? Yeah, somebody was saying this, which actually kind of makes sense. Okay, I can't find it. But basically, I think they were saying that you need to advertise in CNBC, MSNBC, those kind of places because yeah, here it is. Um, Bloomberg, Wall Street Journal, because right now part of the issue is they create more FUD on purpose because they're not we don't advertise on there. I think there's
I
truth to that, right?
I always push back on that rumor because I've worked in journalism, and I've never been told which direction to push stories. They
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
disagree with you.
Well, and I am
You know
running
that
my
Elon
media
himself
bias
said this.
tracker. And I will tell you
Oh
that
yeah.
SpaceX doesn't advertise, and they get better coverage than Tesla. And GM advertises like crazy, and they've got the lowest score of any non-Tesla company we've seen because they had massive layoffs last week. And the media can't sugarcoat that, and that's going to dominate the headlines when you've got huge layoffs.
Brian, tell people what you're doing because you're doing something pretty amazing. This media tracker. Explain what you're doing.
So it's every day I make a video looking at Tesla and one other company or topic. Sometimes it's two other companies, and it rotates. So it's the same companies on the same day of each week. And what I do is I take the top 25 headlines from Google News and I assess them based on whether they're positive, neutral, or negative. Now, even if the story is true, the headline can be negative, and that's fine. It's still a negative headline. And the story can be false and positive. It still counts. So if a headline said Tesla cures cancer, that would be a positive headline, even though it's wrong. We're not looking for the facts. We're looking for the bias. And what we find is that Tesla routinely scores around negative 50 on it's a 100 plus or minus scale, and that other companies generally score about 0 or a bit above. So Rivian gets very high marks despite being not very exciting. You got Ford, who got average marks. You've got GM, who had really bad marks just because they had a bunch of layoffs. But even SpaceX, The Boring Company, and Neuralink do not get the kind of negative headlines that Tesla does. And it paints a very strange picture because none of Elon's companies advertise, and yet only Tesla gets the universally, I mean, they get really, really bad headlines is what I'm saying. So yeah, that
So
comes
you're saying you don't think, yeah.
Yeah,
You don't think that if Tesla start advertising on that's going to change anything because this is a bigger issue with Elon himself or the hatred against that?
Yep.
Not
There's
Okay.
they're selling ads, sure, but what they're really selling is eyeballs. They want clicks, they want views, and no publisher has ever gone broke publishing hate for Elon. It's an easy moneymaker. And so they will include Tesla in headlines about other things just to get the eyeballs. And if Tesla were to advertise and then say, hey, come on, be nicer, that would be the headline story. Tesla is pressuring us. that would be the headline story, and it'd be the biggest story of the year. So it's easy to see a conspiracy where one doesn't necessarily exist. And the media bias tracker is showing that Tesla's coverage is so bad, so negative, even though it doesn't make sense. So, and then once a week I publish it. I publish it for everyone, for publicly, but it's out every day for people who support on Patreon or X or as YouTube channel members. 7 times a week would be too much. It'd be information overload for most viewers. This is just for the people who really like to get in the weeds with me.
There you go. Follow Brian for that. That's great. What do you think about this, Brian? This person was saying that social media is the wrong demographic. So I don't agree anymore. So I don't agree. So social media, everybody is using social media now. Do you know what my demographics are? And I'm sure it's the same as you. The Tesla community skews really old.
95% male, and over half of my viewers are older than me. Most of my viewers are older than me.
And so, we are all, no matter what age we are, on YouTube. Now you might say TikTok, correct? It skews very young, for sure. Agree. No doubt there. But like every human, teenagers will persuade their parents, I want this car. This is a cool thing.
For sure.
Uh,
And that someone was saying earlier on my chat that advertising works on kids. A 3-year-old at the daycare, they said, "Oh, is your dad coming to pick you up in his car?" And he said, "My dad doesn't drive a car. My dad drives a Tesla." And especially for the MrBeast crowd who is too young to buy one, you have to know that advertising, that your teenagers' opinions influence your decisions, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not. And there are a lot of people say ads don't work. I have never bought something because of an ad. Right, we all say that, but they do. They do. Otherwise, ads wouldn't exist. And ads are always evolving. And I hope this new department that's being put together, once again, reinvents it and takes it to the next level.
Well, so what do you think though? Like, so people are very, very skeptical that Tesla is going to get into advertising. And then when Elon said, okay, we're going to do it, they're going, how come he hasn't done anything? And then when they said they're starting to do it on Google ads, they said that's not enough. They're just going to dip their toe in. Now that they've hired this group of people, the department in Tesla, to start creating more of these videos, that seems like people might say that's just a small group. By the way, Tesla Boomer Mama, Alexandra Mertz, she tweeted out this thing just yesterday. And she listed out all of the X accounts. And she had done something similar with all of the Tesla accounts on X. And they are regularly, giving posts out. So it's not just this, this one big, centralized thing that will create a creative. And by the way, you are aware of this. You know Giga Shanghai so well. China, Tesla China, advertises like crazy. They have fantastic marketing. So it's not that, like it's not that Tesla's not doing advertising. They're doing it in places that they need to do it.
Yeah, and it's
because China is much more competitive. The market for China is so competitive. And let me make another point about the US. There is no competition in the US.
No.
There is no competition in the US.
No.
You're talking maybe 20,000 cars or maybe 200,000 cars from another brand. And then all of them are slowing down. So every car that Tesla makes is going to sell. Now, I mean, you have to debate about the price thing. And here I am again talking about that you need price parity. Once you get the price parity, then you want to advertise. But
well, and Tesla's in China, it's the opposite. Tesla has not reached price parity. They're the most, even 40, 50,000 is a very expensive car compared to some of the domestic offers, but it's the best car. And the way Tesla operates internationally is more like a traditional company where there is a PR department in China. There is a PR department in Berlin. We just don't have one here because, Elon's got got ultimate, if Elon spoke German, I'm confident they wouldn't have a PR department in Germany either.
He does. He did speak German. One of the
go back and listen. That was about as German as JFK's was. So,
Brian, I mean, let me ask you the question. 2024, they've created this department. Is this going to be just a small dip in the toe, or are they going to go big time?
I think they're going to go big time because they only hire the best. They've got 6 positions open. They are going to get. If they only get 6,000 applicants, I'll be very surprised. And they're going to get the very best, the very most ambitious, the very most passionate people who, even if they say, yeah, we're just dipping our toes in the water, they're going to say, you think you're just dipping your toes in the water. Wait till you see what we got. And they're going to make some breathtaking stuff. And when it is successful, which it will be, the results will speak for themselves and they'll get perhaps a little more budget.
And am I wrong to assume that Tesla's fan base, our community, people like us, is pretty big, million, maybe more, fervent fans that would then take those videos and share it in the name of, promoting the mission? This is more than just an ad. It's going to become a movement that the community is already sizable. we're that little, like we're not just this tiny thing now. We're a pretty big deal as compared to any other company out there. Like even Apple does not have that.
Yeah, it's crazy to think of it. There's no other products unveilings that get this kind of hype and coverage and excitement and enthusiasm. And I think maybe that department's job is to make viral videos, make an ad that's so good, people will share it on TikTok or everywhere. That's my thought.
Yeah, I agree with that too. And then, I mean, what about the bot? So the bot and Cybertruck are two examples of just wow, I guess, I don't know if it's the right word, halo products. I do agree with this thing that people are saying that the Cybertruck is a halo product. So even though you might only sell 250,000 of them, it's the fact that when somebody sees it on the road, they go, and we already showed in a previous show, right? The Google searches skyrocketed. And do you remember which country had the most searches for Cybertruck when the Cybertruck was launched?
China.
China. Why? China.
I don't know because it's the future, because they love things that are the future is my best guess.
Yeah. By far, much higher than anyone else. But the point is that when you do the Cybertruck launch, the search for Tesla skyrocketed, not just Cybertruck. And so that will happen. Robot will happen. And, And
it's all going to pile on top of each other and do, and crossover ads are very easy. You just add some bots to the back of the truck. I don't know. Why not?
Yeah. This guy, Tony, was saying this, put a YouTuber in the factory with the bots, talk about a bottomless well of content. Yeah, especially with the bots. But we just had that with Sandy Monroe having unprecedented access to the multiple videos. And Sandy's channel is massive. Like he gets a good reach. And his reach are people who are car enthusiasts.
Engineers. In terms of demographics of my fans, now I noticed in the comments a lot of people sharing that they are younger than me, and that's awesome.
I know.
When I was at Texas, I met a gentleman also named Brian, proof the simulation's broken, and I said, I think this guy might be my youngest fan I've ever met. And he goes, I'm 37. I said, yeah, I stand by that. I'm not saying you guys don't exist. I'm saying you can't take time off in the middle of the day. Most of the people I meet are retired engineers. They can't, most my younger viewers can't drive to Texas on a Thursday. That's crazy talk.
That's because, so our channel and what we attract is the Tesla investor. And so to be a Tesla investor, typically you've got money, you're at the higher end kind of thing, you're investing your money. But what Tesla needs to do is advertise, and I agree, it's got to be the buyer, who are the buyers, who are still going to be the same. I mean, it's going to be the people with money, right? Who's going to buy the car. This is a high-end purchase.
For sure. And and I've got a lot of engineers because of all the construction analysis that we do on the channel and drone footage and estimating completion times and dives into batteries and things like that. My wife wanted to know, what kind of stuff do you actually watch in your free time for fun? And I put on a Jordan Giesecke video, and she could
Brian.
not. Oh no, I wanted her to see in all its glory.
Brian.
That's my idea of fun. I wasn't trying to convert her. I was just showing her behind the curtain, and it was ugly.
Well, okay, so let's go back to the concept, right? So Tesla is now hitting 2 million cars per year. They're going to be skyrocketing. They're going to be growing an exponential curve. The demand for EVs is skyrocketed. Tesla now has multiple factories. They just we just did a show on Giga Mexico. It's going to be fast tracked. They've got the permits now. They're going to do not just next gen vehicles in Giga Mexico, but Cybertruck, possibly an extra Model Y line. And the compact car, of course, and even batteries, 4680 batteries. They got a new Megapack factory in Shanghai. So my point is that the factories have gone that they can now build in mass production. They need to now appeal to a much larger group of people, and they need to supercharge their marketing globally, because every year, do you know this? Because you know the stats, right? Which countries they added selling Teslas to now?
I heard a new one this week, but I don't remember which one. There was a new market this week I saw. Do you remember?
No.
Anybody in the chats tell us, because I did see a new country added, and I don't remember if it was in Asia or the Middle East. But by the way, did you know, and folks out there, did you know, I was told you could do this. Yesterday, I looked up an address on my phone on Google Maps, and I clicked share, and it listed Tesla, and I clicked it, and it said, sent it to your car.
What do you mean you didn't know that?
I
Dude,
didn't know that. Why would I know that?
What?
Why would I know that?
Maybe you need to watch more YouTube channels. Come on, man. That's pretty obvious.
I didn't know that. Who in the chat did not know that? Solar Enthusiast is saying maybe Qatar.
This is why you need. This is why you need more advertising, more content to teach people all the little features that Tesla can do, because it is okay. So that is another thing to talk about. I've got a bunch of friends who own Tesla cars, and one guy I went for coffee with like about 2 months ago, longtime friend, technology founder, tech startup founder, very high tech guy, owned a Model X and a Model 3. And we're talking about it. Long time. He owned these cars a long time. He had no idea about full self-driving. Wow. He had no idea about autopilot. And I'm like,
wow. I would agree that there is absolutely an information gap. I would agree.
It's like I couldn't understand how he could not know these features of the two cars that he's owned for a long time. And he's not he's not a technophobe or anything like that. He knows what he's doing. So there's so many features that Tesla has that people just don't realize. It's hard to keep up. There's just way too many features. So all of this can be, communicated, marketed. There's just so much.
Yeah. Any questions you guys have for us? Herbert is doing his best to make me brighter. It's not always successful.
It's the other way around, buddy. It's the other way around. You're the one with all the facts and info.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I've got a couple, I've got some Christmas lights on my tree now, cause I gotta enjoy that while we can. And I improved my quality of life this week by finally getting Spotify in the car. Oh, anything you want to hear, no ads. What a value. Really happy about that.
Do you think that Tesla will do a Super Bowl ad? So January's coming up. So this group that they hired, it's too early, too late. There's no way that they're going to be able to do a Super Bowl ad by this point. But some people believe, there's some guesses that there might be a Super Bowl ad for Tesla coming out in January.
Well, they would have. I don't think so. I agree that they would have had to bid on it months ago, and it's possible they did, but I don't know. Yeah, I just don't think I don't think now is the time, and I don't think that's the right venue. If you wanted to do a Super Bowl ad, you could take the Clown O'Dan approach and make the ad and then only run it on one local station in the middle of nowhere where it's cheap. And for like $10,000, you can call it a Super Bowl ad because it technically ran on the Super Bowl somewhere. And then get, your 30 million views on YouTube. But I don't think now is the time. But
I will tell you that if Elon was going to do something, he's going to want it to be the best thing. And so, which means that it's got to eclipse what happened with Apple. You're aware of Apple's Super Bowl ad that is still today considered to be the greatest advertisement in the world.
No.
Oh. What?
I'll look it up.
You're talking about that girl that's coming running in and she's wielding the sledgehammer and she throws it at what?
I'll look it up. See, that's how effective these ads are. Oh, that's
1984.
Why. I was 10. So the other thing to remember with the Super Bowl ads is every EV commercial is a Tesla commercial. When you look at the Google search interest and you see, oh, look, Cadillac or whoever, Ford, did an EV ad, and then you look at Tesla and it got more web traffic as a result than those other guys did. But I don't think that that's necessarily reaching out to new people, but I don't know. It's difficult to A/B test without parallel universes.
Anyway, so the reason why Apple's 1984 ad was considered to be revolutionary was because it was kind of a mini cinematic kind of thing, right? But it was produced or by Ridley Scott, like, a
Oh, wow.
real director of a movie.
Yeah, Alien.
But when it was aired, it wasn't just aired at the Super Bowl for those 30 seconds. It was aired by almost every news organization in the world, replayed it to tell people about it.
Wow.
And my point is that that's the kind of thing that if Elon was going to do this, he wants to go big. It's going to be this amazing thing. That's why maybe he's, like, I'm not going to do anything crap.
Right.
So
don't do it halfway. Let's see. Yeah, I'm seeing some of those comments too. I'm not sure if I'm going to.
I don't want to share it.
I don't want to share
funny.
some of them, but it is kind of funny.
Oh my, that's so funny. All right, man, that was great. So you basically shared facts about MrBeast, and we talked about this new division that Tesla's hired these new people to create, high quality ads. It's coming, and I think we both agree 2024 they're gonna go and create more content, and they need to, because we're at that point, and it's gonna be great for Tesla. And I think this whole debate is finally get out of the bed and just move on. But your point is that it's not just going to be advertising, that what really matters is more and more of the social media. And when they did the Cybertruck launch, look what they did. They didn't create a Super Bowl, a sort of TV commercial for the Cybertruck. They created these 4 or 5 social media, and now it's 40 million people watched those
Easily.
Videos.
And watched them. I mean, actually watched them. It didn't like come up and they were annoyed and no. People engaged with these videos. Even the haters is what true.
Oh, let me show this one. Is this true, guys? Elon said, if you see a Tesla Super Bowl ad, sell the stock. I think I might see. I agree if that's the case. I don't remember that. Please tell me if that's true or not true.
He also said the stock was too high when it was a fraction of what it is today. So he's not always right.
And he'll change his mind too, right? So yeah, I don't think they're going to do a Super Bowl ad. It's just not going to be.
I just don't think it's the best value.
Have you heard anybody complain that they should have done TV ads for the Cybertruck?
No.
I have not heard one of those pro advertiser Tesla people say that. How come they didn't do a TV ad?
But the Model Y does have additional capacity. They could make and sell more today, next month. So there is room to improve on existing models. The models S and X are selling nowhere close to capacity. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Oh, this is another great point, by the way. I like this. Thank you, Dan. Elon's magic, because he captivates his audience. So when you have somebody like an Elon, and anything he goes on TV, he says anything, that is an ad. It is shared, like every newscast out there, every newspaper's writing about it, every social media is talking about it, and he just says one thing and it's gonna go, right? So if he wants to, he can easily just.
Elon is such a good salesman, he could make burnt hair perfume and sell out.
Which he did. He did sell it, and you bought one, didn't you, buddy?
I did not. I don't do the merch thing.
I don't do it either.
Yeah.
I don't do it either. It's weird. I mean, I have a lot now because of the referral credits, and so I'm rocking it now. But I'm not like I have to own every single thing that Tesla spits out. But they sell out, don't they?
They do.
And so that's another advertising and marketing that they do that no one else does quite the way they do. Everybody does coffee cups, and they do mouse pads and T-shirts, right? Everybody has shirts with their logo on it. But do you see the rocket ship with the lighter or the
this cool mug?
I mean, they do mugs. Yeah, everybody.
Right. No,
does
but
mugs.
this is different. Have you ever seen this mug? In
Sure,
somebody else?
a plaid mug.
No, I mean from other people. But yeah, they do those cool shot glasses that no one's ever seen. They do tequila bottles no one's ever seen that are so popular. They sell them without tequila now because, I mean, it's not like we're distilling it
They
ourselves.
did the branding thing where you can brand the Tesla logo. I mean, like the fly shocker, the fly shocker. I mean, it's like it's like who does this? Who does this? And it's another level of crazy marketing and advertising.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Other companies have done some silly things, but who does this successfully? Fewer. So,
all right, let's wrap it up here. Thank you guys very much. Every week we do this co-stream. Please join us. This was a lot of fun. We always cover breaking news as much as we can. Thanks.